this is how we live.
Oh, I understand.
Is exactly like fucking Braveheart. There's the major Mel Gibson place.
Yeah.
But then you got to run through the rest of the country. You're running through the mountains to get the Skaguga clan to join you in society. These motherfuckers
are... Patrice running. Rocky Mountains. Iowa.
and I've been to those places, and cosmopolitan white people. There's only about 5 cities in this country: New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington D.C., which is not really a city.
Say Atlanta.
Chicago, Atlanta,
Detroit.
No, not Detroit.
San Francisco. And Vegas, Nevada, and only because Vegas is in it. Now, I'm offend a couple of cities. Now, there's going to be, well, what about, I've been there, man. Minnesota should have to, a lot of these places should have to sign up to be
part of the country.
What's wrong with us going down to 42 states? Why the fuck
do we get
does
to take
South and North Dakota get to be anything?
Do we get to take over their state, though?
Yeah,
or does it just stay there as a black hole?
We just swallow it up to the next. Illinois can swallow up some other towns and make a mega town.
Yeah.
And they follow the lead from New York and fucking Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Until there's no more of that dead bullshit in the middle.
Those ridiculous human beings, those drones that walk around the middle of the country.
Off the top of your head, what state should get bigger and what state should get smaller?
The bigger should...
New York?
Ready?
Yeah.
New England should be called Boston.
Okay. So that takes Vermont, New Hampshire,
Maine, Rhode Island gets swallowed up by Boston, and
Massachusetts gets swallowed up.
Fuck the states.
Right.
This should be Connecticut and Jersey should be called New York. Pittsburgh should be called Philadelphia. The entire Pennsylvania should be called Philadelphiaville.
You just took care of the Northeast really quickly. All right, now work down the coast.
Holy shit.
The rest of the Northeast.
Delaware.
I mean, the rest of the East Coast.
Maryland.
Baltimore should be called... Baltimore should be called... That whole area should be called Washington, D.C. town.
You throw Virginia in there?
Florida should be called Miami.
Yes.
That is it. Spread Miami as far, make beaches, do whatever you need to do, but make that entire... North Carolina can stay. It's something that should be there.
So there's no
South Carolina?
So who gets South Carolina?
No driving.
North Carolina.
All right, that's an easy one.
So if you're driving cross country, you're constantly in some cool...
You're in a place...
Things are going on.
You're not going to some weird...
What about the weird middle of the country?
That's what I'm saying.
How do you handle that?
But you have to... I think that makes Chicago...
The West Coast?
The entire Midwest.
The entire Midwest is just Chicago.
Okay.
So
Indiana.
If you're in Tennessee, you're in Chicago.
Yes. Texas stays Kansas.
Chicago.
Kansas is Chicago. Any town you can't fly to in a big plane, can't get to Kansas City in a big plane. You're not a fucking town. You're not... Chicago.
Connecting flight means...
Connecting flight. International... Who the fuck? Nebraska don't get to say they have an international airport, nigga. Because fucking Canadian planes land there. Suck a dick, man.
What about like Montana, Wyoming?
You know who gets them?
Yeah.
You share it between Oregon and Washington. You Washington, because Seattle's real.
Yeah.
And Portland is real.
Right.
They swallow up that entire Wyoming, South Dakota,
Idaho,
all of that nonsense.
All that shit.
They get swallowed the fuck up.
And Denver.
Denver stays. Denver's a major
and
town.
Denver sucks up the Four Corners, all that shit.
Now, what's next to Denver?
Yeah, Denver's got fucking Utah. Colorado has Utah next to it. And then I think a little piece of
Utah Denver gets.
So Denver,
Utah becomes Denverville.
Salt Lake City, even that's gone. It's now Denver.
No.
Nebraska too. Yeah, Nebraska.
Come on, man. I'm dead ass.
Up.
Now I know you from there, but I don't defend Boston. I'm from Boston. I don't fucking get ultra defensive. But these places, Maine, and New Hampshire.
Arizona's LA.
Wait a minute. You know it takes only 4 hours to drive through every state in New England. Eat ass. Why would Rhode Island waste our time being a state?
You could get through that in an hour.
I can understand 250 years ago, maybe, but not now.
You can cut through Connecticut to get to You can completely avoid Rhode Island for your entire life.
When people were riding horses, it made sense because, you know, it took a while. But now with cars and planes, why fucking small states?
Fuck you and your
like
local. What do they call that shit? Your local regional fucking nonsense.
Thinking.
So the Super Bowl would just be great. That's it. We're giant. We need to stop this bullshit.
Giant states.
But
giant cities.
I got
Not
one more
states. Cities, yeah.
You got to handle Texas. Texas is
stays because Dallas is a
Texas
mother.
stays,
But
what
Texas.
What does it grab?
What does it grab?
Oh my God,
Because Houston, Dallas,
there.
San Antonio.
New Mexico. It's got to grab New Mexico.
Fucking A.
And
that's
Arizona.
Texas gets New Mexico.
Arizona becomes L.A.
Arizona is now Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Reno can be San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Texas gets everything that it connects to.
Around it, right. Okay.
To take some pressure off of Chicago.
Right, being Chicago with the whole Midwest.
And Denver.
Yeah, okay.
Texas can take a lot of things.
And my final question, how many states we go down to?
That's hard.
It would be about 5-6 states.
Good.
Good.
That's about it.
What about Hawaii and Alaska?
Hawaii stays. Alaska can fucking go. Alaska's why?
Canada or Russia.
Get out of here. We can sell them that.
Oh, Kenny.
I don't want to break up the funny, but there is a National Geographic special about this, and, how the states got developed and why the borders are why they are.
Really?
Yeah, like I fell asleep watching it. That's how good it is.
Of course you did.
But it's like the Erie Canal.
Your TV fell asleep watching you.
Big cities built up commerce. Because in the old days they could just go down rivers and stuff, and that's why.
Are you supporting that we changed this what we did back then?
No, I'm just saying people back then was fucked up.
Right,
that's why.
It's based pretty much on geography and what people had to do to get through rivers and over mountains and things like that.
All right, Danny kept track. So you got the United States of Patrice. You got New York, Boston, Philadelphiaville, Washington, D.C. town, Miami, Chicago, Texas, Denverville,
San Francisco. L.A.
L.A. and
you got L.A.
and Portland.
Can I see a map, please? Because I could do this with a map. I need to see a map because I'll tell you. I'll tell you what doesn't. I've been there. It's
makes a lot of sense.
It's just like subdivisions.
It's
just subdivisions.
It's time to consolidate this country.
Stop this shit.
Yeah.
Stop this fucking shit.
And then you could get rid of so many politicians because then it's just you don't need a representative from every fucking little district and fucking. It'd be great.
Now I see this. This is fantastic.
Here's the state.
Texas gets. Oh Lord, have mercy. Texas gets Louisiana, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Kansas, and Colorado. Sucked in by fucking Texas.
One big Texas.
California, which would be Los Angeles, gets Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. Colorado gets sucked in by Texas. Colorado don't get because Denver is a bad motherfucker, but it's just not enough. Washington and Oregon split. Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota gets all sucked up.
Wow,
and we will call it all because we'll make Seattle be we'll make Portland be a subdivision of Washington, of Portland. So Portland will be now Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Idaho will now be called Portland.
Wow, that's huge.
Now we have
moving on.
We have Chicago.
Okay.
Illinois Chicago will be now consist of Indiana, Ohio, Iowa, and Missouri. Okay?
Yeah.
What about Michigan and Wisconsin?
Michigan's in there. All of that is now called Chicago.
All
right.
New York will be Pennsylvania. No.
What happened to...
Wait a minute. No. New York will be... Shit.
Jersey,
New
Connecticut.
York will be New England and Connecticut.
Holy shit.
So... Fuck.
Wait, start from the...
No, wait.
You got this figured out. Go to the top. Go to Maine and work your way down now. You got the Boston thing figured
Because
out.
New York is so important.
Yes.
Why
doesn't
it should
New York
be as
grab
swallow? It should be as big as swallowing up.
Hold on, I got it.
Texas.
I got it too. New
got
York
it.
should eat Ohio and Michigan.
And Rhode Island and Connecticut and
Right.
Jersey.
And Maine.
You give us
Boston.
Rhode Island.
And let's take New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, as New England and
Right.
Boston.
Yeah, you just take that shit over.
We're taking fucking parts of Canada.
Yeah, you could take that shit over for Boston.
No borders.
I think this may, and only because it's supposed to be a cosmopolitan city, but this may fuck up everything. Boston, I put it in the same thing as Denver. The entire Massachusetts is not important enough. I say New York eats it all.
Eats all of New
Boston, Boston is a subdivision, just like Seattle is a subdivision of Portland is a subdivision of Seattle. But they have still, I'm Portland, but that whole shit.
It belongs to
Seattle, really.
So now New York.
Professor Patrice, what happens to the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry?
They got to get together.
Yeah.
And wait.
How is that going to happen?
We can have, wait a minute, we can still have sports. I'm talking about, look it, there's going to be some shit going on. And then we have to maybe, wait a second, because football, basketball, all these things are old too. We should start to develop some new, more powerful sports.
More powerful.
Some fucking sports.
For example.
That where these 7 motherfuckers that
Big
play
ass,
or whatever, it's some major shit going on.
big
And it'll
time.
be, wait, we can, instead of 11 guys playing football, let's have 33 on each side. Let's fucking...
How big's the field?
Humongous, nigga. Imagine how big the one in Texas is going to be. We can just turn it we can turn Iowa into a stadium.
Just for sports. All right, so New York takes everything above it and Jersey.
I think Philadelphia
And
gets some things. Philadelphia gets West Virginia. Philadelphia can have Ohio, and Philadelphia can have.
That's about it. It should get Jersey, I guess.
I guess
Pretty damn
Philadelphia
fucking close.
and we'll
Maybe
go
split Jersey in half.
and we make Miami will be Alabama.
Georgia.
It will be South Carolina. It will be Tennessee, and North Carolina gets to survive. North Carolina will be part of D.C. So D.C. now will be made of Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, and Kentucky. That will be called Charlotte. Or no, D.C. Town. That would be
DC Town.
D.C. Town.
DC Town.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
in. I like this.
Yes.
I like big change like that.
Oh, my God.
That's good.
Can you imagine this?
I'm in.
This actually
When do we vote on this
And
referendum?
we erase this shitty fucking
just
these lines.
All those imaginary lines have to go.
All of that
stupid.
We
shit.
make new imaginary lines because we can.
And you know what? And we shut down all those shitty highways, those halfway. It's just a big 95 that
Major.
shoots through a big ass 580, a big ass 1, and you fucking deal with that, and you make the fucking highways 50 lanes, and that's the infrastructure.
Just big. Everything's got to
infrastructure.
be big.
50
and
lane
fucking
highways.
50
That'd
lanes.
be really confusing
That
if
is
you,
fantastic.
if you have
Change
to
the
get
name
over to
to
the right.
the United Areas of America.
United areas.
And if Canada wants to get in it, we'll take you over and figure that shit out too.
I love it. Wow.
For real, man. It's just nonsense, all these fucking...
It is.
These,
I've never heard it put quite this way, but yeah, that would be a major change to run on. Now, you're talking change. That's a fucking change to...
There you go.
But
Why
Chicago-
are we still being traditional?
Yeah.
Patrice, Chicago very mad on the phones. And
Why?
He's saying...
It's
well, hold on.
Chicagoland.
The whole thing is
Let's find
Chicago.
out.
You get Wisconsin?
Yeah, you
Well,
dummy.
I don't know. He lives there. John in Chicago. Why are you mad? This makes perfect sense.
Well, we don't want any of those other fucking states.
You got to take him, dude. You got to take
He
him.
doesn't want them.
You think New York wants New Hampshire?
No.
But here's the thing. Listen, Chicago guy. You are taxed with the responsibility of teaching North Dakota
To be Chicago.
to be better.
And to be Chicago.
Stop being North Dakota.
Build some giant buildings and...
The only one we want is Wisconsin so we can enslave those